Okay, we are quite literally standing on the edge of the most massive transformation the beautiful game has ever seen. The 2026 World Cup isn't just another chapter in global football history, It's a complete rewrite of the rulebook and a dramatic, unprecedented expansion of the playing field. So let's dive right into this explainer and break down the incredible scale, the structure, and the aggressive new rule changes coming our way.
To wrap our heads around this mega tournament, we're going to organize things into 4 key areas today. 1. The 48-team format. 2. Curaçao's miracle. 3. Logistical complexity. And 4. The new rules.
Starting right off with Pillar 1, the 48-team format.
Now, what's really interesting about the new format is just how staggering the contrast is. We're jumping from 32 teams up to an unbelievable 48 teams, which are going to be arranged into 12 groups of 4. What does that mean for the tournament? Well, it means we now have a grueling 104 total matches to get through. That is a huge leap from the previous 64. And for the players, reaching the final now means surviving an entirely new knockout hurdle, the round of 32. Like the analysts are saying, getting to the final in this new format is basically like winning the World Cup, and then having to turn around and win the whole thing all over again.
This massive expansion perfectly sets up our case study, Curaçao's miracle.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 158,000. Shattering Iceland's previous record, Curaçao is now officially the smallest nation by both population and landmass to ever reach a World Cup finals. To put that into perspective for you, this tiny Caribbean island has a population smaller than most neighborhoods in a major city. Yet here they are, about to step onto the grandest stage in all of global sports. Absolutely wild. And the absolute best part? They earned this spot entirely on merit. Get this, they topped CONCACAF's third round Group B with a flawless, unbeaten 12 points, finishing ahead of traditional regional powerhouses like Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago. They didn't just sneak in through the back door, They dominated their group with total composure and control. So you're probably wondering, how exactly does a nation this small actually pull something like this off? Well, first, they capitalized on the open slots left by the automatic qualification of the 3 co-hosts, the USA, Canada, and Mexico. But their real secret weapon was incredibly strategic. They went out and successfully recruited top-tier players from the Dutch Caribbean diaspora. We're talking about guys like the Bacuna brothers, who came straight through elite European academies. Add to that the absolute mastermind of the operation, 78-year-old Dutch manager Dick Advocaat, a guy who simply refuses to retire, by the way. He came in and implemented a strict European structural discipline, and then perfectly blended it with the team's natural Caribbean flair. It was a real game changer. But their impact isn't just happening on the pitch. Off the pitch, this team's completely authentic, unfiltered locker room celebrations, fueled by Caribbean music, have turned them into a massive viral sensation. Driven by platforms like TikTok and X, they've quickly become a global second team for neutral fans who are just entirely captivated by their spontaneous, unmanufactured joy. It's a brilliant reminder of the actual human element inside this giant commercial machine. Okay, so expanding the tournament opens doors for amazing stories like that, right? But let's move to our second pillar and see how this all translates into the physical reality for the fans and players who actually have to navigate this absolute behemoth of an event. Because make no mistake, the 2026 World Cup is going to be defined just as much by its geography as its football. Which brings us to Pillar 2, logistical complexity and travel. Trying to host 104 matches is a complete logistical nightmare when the whole thing is spread across an entire continent. Teams and organizers are facing unprecedented hurdles here. First off, you've got massive travel distances across the USA, Canada, and Mexico, meaning squad rotation and recovery are going to be absolutely crucial. Second, think about the climate. 10 of the 16 host cities are expected to face extreme summer heat, especially places like Houston and Dallas. For us watching at home, that probably means a lot more mandatory cooling breaks, maybe slower-paced games, or even some unusual late-night kickoffs. Third, there are some very real, unprecedented concerns regarding visas and cross-border travel for both fans and teams. And finally, organizers are facing the wild technical challenge of installing and maintaining temporary natural grass right over top of the artificial NFL turf just to meet FIFA's strict regulations.
Finally, let's drill down to the pitch level with Pillar 3, the new rules.
To keep this heavily expanded 104-match tournament actually moving along, officials are introducing some very aggressive new rules. The whole goal here is to completely eliminate the dark arts of slowing down play. We've all seen it, right? The intentional delays, the endless time wasting that just absolutely frustrates the fans. Well, FIFA is officially putting a stop to it.
And these new measures, they are unbelievably strict. First up, referees are now going to use a strict visual 5-second countdown for throw-ins and goal kicks. If you delay, boom, possession instantly flips to your opponent. Second, when a substitution is called, the departing player has exactly 10 seconds to get off the pitch. If they decide to drag their feet, the new player is forced to wait on the sideline for a full minute of live play. And third, if a player stops the game for medical treatment, they actually have to wait off the field for 1 full minute after play restarts. Honestly, I have a feeling that last one might just suddenly cure a lot of those miraculous cramps we always seem to see right around the 89th minute.
Furthermore, the video assistant referee, or VAR, is getting its jurisdiction expanded in a major way. VAR now has the power to correct clear errors involving second yellow cards that lead to a red. They can also step right in to rectify cases of mistaken identity, if the referee accidentally cards the wrong player. And fascinatingly, they can now instantly reverse an incorrectly awarded corner kick, as long as it doesn't delay the restart. It's a massive push for absolute accuracy on the pitch. So we're looking at 48 teams, 104 matches, brutal geographic hurdles, and aggressive brand new rules policing the flow of the game. With the scale of this tournament completely transformed, you really have to ask yourself, will this massive expansion usher in a thrilling new era of global football with more incredible miracles like Curaçao, or is the beautiful game simply going to be crushed under the weight of its own chaotic logistics? I guess we're going to find out soon enough.